So good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here in Hackensack. On behalf of the City of Hackensack, we welcome you. On behalf of the City Council, we welcome you. I'd like to start today's event with our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be given by Police Chief May from the Borough of Bogota. Welcome, Chief. Thank you, if you would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. And without further ado, we're going to move this right along. I want to welcome our representative, Congressman Josh Gottheimer from the 5th District of the state of New Jersey. He's here to give our State of the District address. So without further ado, Congressman Josh Gottheimer.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Yep. Well, it got darker. The lights came down. You can put them up if you want. Thank you so much, and I really thank you all for coming and being with us in person. And I know a lot of people are watching online. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes. Mayor, thank you. Chief, thank you for your leadership and service. You guys hear me okay? Or is it a little echoey? It's okay? Okay. So, and I know we have several elected officials here, so thank you very much to all of our elected officials. Very grateful. And I appreciate our teachers and others being here as well. I can't see everyone from here because the lights are in my eyes, so I apologize if I miss you in advance, but thank you so much for being here. You know, you might imagine that I get asked all the time in Washington, do you like living in Jersey? My answer, without missing a beat, is always the same. I don't just like living in Jersey, probably like all of you. I love living in Jersey. I was born here, raised here, work here, like most of us. I'm very proud and protective of Jersey. And for those who don't get it, who've never swam in our lakes, rode the waves down the Jersey shore, hiked our trails, been to our schools, hung with our people, eaten our pizza, or listened to Springsteen, well, too bad for them. As Bon Jovi said, if you're from Jersey, don't let anyone know how great it is here. So, of course, if you ask me on the record, what's the state of the district that I'm lucky enough to represent in Congress, my answer is reflexively clear. Strong, like a rock. I'm bullish and optimistic about our future. And since I'm not in Washington, and we're among a lot of friends here, as I enter my 4th term in Congress, I think it's important to unpack that question even a little more, to take stock of our district and our great state, to review our opportunities and challenges, and to chart a course for an even stronger, tougher New Jersey. A Jersey that's willing to wage an even tougher fight for our future, for the policies and values that make us who we are. So today I'm focusing on how, working together across party lines, lines that too often divide us, we can capitalize on our strengths to grow and succeed, to fight more for good jobs and lower taxes, to strengthen our communities, to invest in our people and our beautiful state, and to protect our Jersey values, from caring for our veterans to keeping guns out of the wrong hands, to protecting a woman's right to choose, to celebrating our rich diversity, to keeping our air and water clean, for our kids and for our families, and for those who've yet to discover all we've got going for us. I truly believe that Jersey is the greatest state in the nation. It's not even a close call, and I'm very optimistic about our future. But we have to recognize that we're at a critical juncture. It reminds me of what legendary Yogi Berra once famously said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. We're at that moment, at a fork in the road in our state's history that will decide our future. That path we choose to take as a district here in northern New Jersey and as a state will impact us for generations to come. Because here's the question. Will we build on our great history and our strengths, from our economy to our people and the values we celebrate, or will we let other states pass us by and steal our jobs and tax dollars? Will we make life more affordable, or will people and businesses keep packing up to study, work, and retire elsewhere? To understand where we are, you need to take a quick look back to our long history and legacy of accomplishments. Going back to before our nation's founding, we've been at the fulcrum of American history. Our leaders helped craft the Declaration of Independence and fought in the Revolutionary War at battle sites not too far from here. Bell Labs developed groundbreaking technologies, including radio astronomy, the transistor, laser, and of course, the telephone. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, the phonograph, and the movie camera. Einstein toiled at Princeton, refining his theory of relativity. A few towns over, Alexander Hamilton envisioned the power of the Great Falls of the Passaic River. Thanks to our life sciences sector, New Jersey was dubbed the medicine chest of the world. Our labs, top-notch hospitals, doctors, nurses, and industry leaders like Johnson & Johnson, BD, and Merck spurred everything from the COVID-19 vaccine to the first antibiotic to fight tuberculosis to cancer treatments and heart and stroke medicines. We're also home to a top-tier $33 billion financial services sector. Our small businesses, which make up nearly 50% of all jobs in the state, are also on the cutting edge. We're just ranked once again the top state in the nation for our phenomenal public schools, thanks to our great educators. My mom was one of them. We have some of the safest communities in the country with the best law enforcement, firefighters and EMTs, and the hardest working men and women of labor who helped build our state. But building that legacy wasn't easy. Even when people have tried to count us out or thrown an elbow, we've remained a great friend and neighbor to the rest of the country. Put aside our life-saving medicines, the brains we produce, and that 20% of the nation's GDP travels through the Northeast here. New Jersey historically has also paid the bills to help build other states for their roads and tunnels and bridges. We've gotten back far less from the federal government than we've paid into the kitty. For instance, you all have heard me say this, for every dollar that Mississippi and West Virginia have sent to Washington, they've gotten historically back $4.38 and $4.23, respectively. In Jersey, historically, we only received 67 cents for every dollar we sent to Washington. And even as we face tougher times, with harder winters, devastating storms, and older infrastructure than other states, as I affectionately call the moocher states, Jersey has kept doing right by our people, from helping veterans and seniors in need to investing in education to taking care of our hard-pressed families. Put another way, we've never stopped living up to our Jersey values, and it's led to a higher cost of living for our families and small businesses. Yet these other states have continued to take and take. Louisiana's state budget, for instance, every year starts with half their money from the federal government, from you and me, for their law enforcement, their nonprofits, their firefighters. All those dollars offset their town, county, and state budgets, and in turn lower their state and local taxes. On top of that, Florida, Texas, and Pennsylvania, and others have started taking more of our jobs, literally running ads in our state to steal our people and businesses. They've shown up to our factories in Bergen and Sussex counties to lure them with lower tax offers and financial aid packages. It reminds me of the words on the bridge in Trenton that I pass to Washington on Amtrak most weeks. Trent makes, the world takes. Then in 2017, the ultimate insult, the moocher states stuck it to us and passed a tax hike bill that gutted the state and local tax deduction, known as SALT, and put a $10,000 cap on the deduction nationwide. After all we've done for them, they wanted us to pay more of their bills. This raised taxes for millions of real, everyday, middle-class folks here in New Jersey. Even our supposed friend from next door in New York City has gotten into the game. They're trying to implement a new $23 a day, $5,000 a year congestion tax on Jersey residents to drive into the city south of 60th. Every nickel will go to their mismanaged MTA, not a penny to the PATH train or to New Jersey Transit to help the residents of New Jersey, to help our families. Through the Port Authority, we've had more than 100 years of cooperation between New York and New Jersey, but not now. We help bankroll New York every year. Before the pandemic, 400,000 New Jersey commuters paid $2.1 billion of income taxes every year, just for the honor of working in New York. When the pandemic hit and our people worked from home in Jersey, New York still fought Jersey and insisted on taking every single dollar, every single tax dollar from our folks as if they commuted to work. It's unbelievable. For those familiar with the children's book, The Giving Tree, you all know The Giving Tree? I feel like we're now at the part when the grown boy comes back to the tree that has always been there for him, that has no leaves and branches left, and he cuts down the trunk. Remember that? Now the question is, what do we do about it? Do we fight back and look out for ourselves, or do we take a few more punches from those like New York demanding the trunk too? Do we get more jobs and businesses here and look out for our folks, or do we continue to line the moochers' pockets? Do we do everything we can to lower our taxes and make life more affordable for our families, or do we let others keep setting their table with our food? Folks, we're competing with the rest of the country, and from Florida to North Carolina to Texas to New York and Pennsylvania, they've made it clear who they're looking out for, and it's not us. Jersey must fight back, starting right here in the 5th Congressional District. This is our crossroads, and I'll tell you the path I think we should go down. After all, we've got plenty going for us. It's time we proudly seized on it. First, we need to stop the exodus of jobs and people, make life more affordable, and draw more good-paying jobs and businesses to Jersey. According to the Tax Foundation, of all 50 states, Jersey currently has the highest business income tax in the nation. We rank 3rd for individual taxes, 6th worst for property taxes, and our tax structure ranks worst in the country for retirees. Over the last year, according to the census, we lost more of our residents to other states than any other state in the country, except for California, New York, and Illinois. And our red tape is legendary, putting us at the bottom of the business-friendly lists. These stats aren't exactly something you put on a recruitment bumper sticker to attract young families and retirees or new businesses and jobs that come with them. That's why I fought so hard in Washington to claw more of our tax dollars back to Jersey and away from the moocher states to help keep our property taxes down and make life more affordable for us. Since 2016, working with our mayors, our county, our first responders, nonprofits, and religious institutions, we're now up 357% what we've clawed back from everything from fire trucks to police salaries to clean water projects and pickup trucks for our towns. In fact, in 2021 alone, that amounted to more than $750 for every single 5th District North Jersey household. Dollars that go right back in the pockets of our hardworking families, taken off of our local property tax line. Lower taxes and more affordability for our families. As part of my affordability agenda for Jersey, we've helped pass legislation to address our COVID-related supply chain issues, increase domestic oil production to lower gas prices, and combat collusion and concentration in the meat and poultry industry that's led to higher prices at the grocery stores. And I helped cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month under Medicare, legislation we passed last year, and capped annual out-of-pocket prescription costs at $2,000 for our seniors, without raising taxes 1 penny on our families and small businesses. I've also been fighting tooth and nail in Congress to restore our state and local tax deduction that I mentioned, or SALT. I helped pass 4 bills out of the House to restore SALT and help cut your property and state taxes. But all 4 times, red state senators blocked the tax-cutting legislation. As co-chair of the bipartisan SALT caucus, we're now back at fighting to restore SALT and get our taxes down. And as I said earlier, we've been fighting New York's absurd congestion tax that someone like Arthur Elmers of Fort Lee, who's here with us today, isn't taxed to visit his children in the city. Barbara Boomall, who's also here, whose son-in-law is an iron worker in the city, has driven to work for 30 years. Her son's hours are so early in the morning that public transportation isn't an option. Yet New York wants to stick it with him with $5,000 new congestion tax on top of tolls and parking. Second, we need to get jobs back to our state and help folks stay in Jersey, whether that's when they graduate high school or college, or mid-career, or at retirement. To compete with the rest of the country, work with our state legislators, I proposed a new Stay in Jersey tax incentive for businesses that move jobs to Jersey, including opening up satellite offices and tax credits for businesses that buy Jersey-made products. Imagine what this will do for the 5th District. By staying and working from Jersey, we can fill up the empty office parks, help folks avoid commuting hours every day, and get them to their kids' baseball or basketball game at night, and support our local stores and restaurants. Think of how great that will be for job growth here in our district and beyond, and how it will increase state and local revenue coming here and not to New York. Remember I said, all the billions every year that go to New York. What if those jobs stayed here? Given our phenomenal education, historical leadership in life sciences, our proximity to New York and the back end of the New York Stock Exchange here, we are particularly well suited to attract tech, fintech, biotech, and other jobs driven by innovation. Our unmatched service sector can handle the growth, and our proximity to transit, airports, cities, lakes, beaches, and bike trails is truly a competitive advantage. But we need to aggressively recruit new businesses, and we need to reward them for bringing jobs here. On the job potential front, we're also well positioned to grow our manufacturing base in Jersey. That's why I fought so hard to pass the bipartisan CHIPS and Science Act, because I see huge opportunity for my district and our state to help accelerate U.S. production of semiconductor chips that are in everything from our phones to cars to ventilators. Jersey still has a strong edge in high-skilled manufacturing, whether that's medical devices, defense, candy, optics, in wind and solar, you name it. All these jobs and millions of dollars we land in the CHIPS Act will help many of these sectors. More of those jobs and the R&D behind them can and should be in Jersey. The dollars we got back will help invest in that, and it will help reduce our reliance on China. We also need to help our small businesses grow, and we should lay out the red carpet for existing and new ones, whether they're in wind, health, finance, or local stores and restaurants. We need to let them know we appreciate them, whether that's helping with approvals for licenses or navigate and cut through the red tape, not suffocate them in it. That's been a big priority of mine on the federal level, especially to help labor get their shovels in the ground to build roads, bridges, and buildings. I've also been focused on helping moms and dads be able to work. That's why I fought for and supported legislation, and will continue to, for universal child care and paid family leave. None of that should be a barrier to making our family a great state. Third, we need to invest wisely in Jersey, in both our people and our infrastructure. In the ultimate clawback to our state, I proudly helped negotiate, draft, and fight to pass the once-in-a-century bipartisan infrastructure bill to invest billions here in Jersey. These dollars are already helping our state and counties invest in our roads, ports, rails, and bridges, and will continue to help all of our communities. They're helping build the Gateway train tunnel between New York and New Jersey, invest in electric vehicle infrastructure, in climate resiliency to protect our shores, and in clean drinking water. We did all this without increasing the tax burden on North Jersey families, and it will create millions of jobs over the next decade, especially for hardworking men and women of labor. To attract new businesses and make sure our schools and students are connected, I also helped claw back historic investments in broadband, working with our communities, including tens of millions for Sussex County and Warren County, our cities, and other areas of the state, for young people and families who remain unconnected or underconnected. I've also made it a top priority to invest in our human infrastructure, our people. There's nothing more important than making sure our kids have a good education, starting with universal pre-K and K-12. In Congress, so our kids can succeed, I've fought to claw back federal investments to improve school safety and security, for free, healthy school breakfasts and lunch, and led efforts to ensure our school buses are safe. I've also been working to ensure our colleges, community colleges, and technical schools are putting the right programs in place to expand STEM education and training, to foster public-private partnerships with local businesses like Thor Labs and Stryker to fill jobs in Jersey. Our colleges need to work together closely with our businesses for those jobs. And we need to invest in our colleges across the state. And I'm very proud of what we've clawed back to schools here in the 5th District. It's the best way to get our students to study here, work here, and stay here after they graduate. That's got to be the key, right? I'm sick and tired, probably like you are, that when kids graduate college or go off from high school, the next day you see signs on lawns, right, for sale signs, because people can't afford to stay here. We need to do everything we can to help our families stay here, especially after their kids graduate. We must prioritize and invest in our trades, including apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeship programs. We need to make sure our young men and women, especially those who want to work with their hands and work in different trades, have industry-recognized credentials and the training the businesses are looking for. It's critical. Fourth, we need to stick by our Jersey values and use them as a competitive edge against those stealing our people and our jobs. I always like to say that in Jersey, we look out for one another. Our values are a real differentiator to many of those states trying to lure our people away. As I mentioned, I'm very proud that Jersey cares about priorities like women's health care, that we're strongly pro-choice, and we've got some of the toughest common sense gun and school safety laws in the entire country. I've taken those Jersey values to Congress since day one, and last year I passed bipartisan gun safety legislation, the first in 30 years, and multiple pieces of legislation protecting a woman's right to choose. No one should get between a woman, her doctor, and her faith when making personal health care decisions. And I'm proud that Jersey has always fought to protect our air and water, and that we're on the cutting edge of alternative energy like wind and solar. Because after all, and you've been around Jersey, right? We've got beautiful lakes, unbelievable beaches, skiing, hiking trails. We need to protect them. The economic opportunities, including the ecotourism in my district, are endless if we just continue to tap into these assets. In Congress, to protect Jersey, with the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure bill, we've also been focused on fighting climate change, investing in renewable energy and climate resiliency. You see, because the stuff we do in Washington is all about the fight here for Jersey. I'm working with our local leaders from both sides of the aisle, from Vernon to Ridgewood to Mahwah to Fairlawn to Hackensack. I've helped claw back millions of critical federal dollars to North Jersey to help get lead and forever chemicals out of the drinking water in our schools and homes. As I said, Jersey values means getting on the backs of others who've had our backs, including protecting our seniors and the Social Security and Medicare they earned, and protecting them from financial scams and robocalls. In last Congress, I passed 2 bipartisan bills just focused on protecting our seniors from scams. We've got to get that done. And Jersey values means taking care of our veterans. I'm proud to have helped get the PACT Act signed into law to help roughly 3.5 million of our brave veterans exposed to burn pits and toxic substances. And working with local veterans, we helped establish the mental health services at the Sussex County VA CBOC in Newton, began veteran health care referrals to Newbridge Medical Center, which the county continues to invest in and does a phenomenal job. And we help the Image Care Center so veterans don't have to drive hours to get care. And thanks to my all-star team, and I know many of you have worked with them, we've helped hundreds of veterans get access to their VA benefits and service medals, helped more seniors access their earned Social Security checks, helped hundreds fight the IRS, and helped thousands of constituents get their unemployment benefits. Michael Tolley, who's here, a Vietnam veteran from Hampton, received hard-earned, life-saving health care from the VA after he was diagnosed with cancer and denied. We cut through the red tape of Social Security Administration to help John Cavalier from Alpine, an Army veteran who's also here, get his Social Security benefits after nearly years of radio silence. Michael and John, thank you for your service. To keep our first responders and communities safe, I've also worked with our departments and towns to claw back millions in federal resources and equipment. I see so many people here who know what I'm talking about because they've been involved in doing it and helping us get everything from fire trucks to ambulances to air packs and radios, even resources to pay for police and firefighter salaries. A great example is our work with Bogota Police Chief. Chief was here, and I'm very grateful for him. Through the LISO 1033 program, we got a Humvee for that town, along with our brave first responders. They helped save lives during a recent flood using that Humvee we clawed back. Chief, thank you very much for your service. Since taking office, 5th District towns have clawed back an astounding $7.5 million in total in AFG, Assistant Firefighter grants, and $2 million in SAFER grants, not to mention millions more in nonprofit security grants and through the LISO program to protect our religious institutions and beyond. Last Congress, my bipartisan Bicameral Invest to Protect Act made critical targeted investments in local law enforcement training, recruitment, retention, and mental health. It passed the House with overwhelming bipartisan support. We did it by working together because we got the best law enforcement around, but they need the tools to keep our neighborhoods safe and fight crime, including the recent surge in auto theft, domestic terror, and anti-Semitic, anti-Asian, and racially motivated hate. And after years working with my good friends Jimmy and Barbara Drake, we got our bipartisan Darren Drake Act signed into law to help stop ISIS-inspired lone wolf and domestic terrorists from renting terror trucks and other vehicles to cause destruction and death. Just like most of us, as it continues to surge in our neighborhoods and online, I've consistently stood up to hate and extremism, whether that's against Muslims or Jews, Christians, Black Americans, Asians, and Pacific Islander Americans, Arab Americans, Latino community, Irish, or Italians. Because hate's not welcome here, and nearly everyone recognizes that New Jersey's diversity remains our greatest strength. As a member of the Homeland Security Committee and now the Intelligence Committee, I've taken the same approach against extremism and terror abroad, standing strongly with our allies against terror and those who seek to do us harm. Fifth and finally, and on a related note, nearly everything I've gotten done in Washington has happened because I've been willing to reach out and work across the aisle. It's the greatest lesson I've learned as co-chair of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus. If you take the time to sit down, talk to and listen to one another, and I know the elected officials feel the same way here, the potential to help Jersey and our country is nearly limitless. Look at what we've gotten done. From the bipartisan infrastructure bill to the historic bipartisan gun safety legislation to the CARES Act, to criminal justice reform and the PACT Act and the bipartisan Electoral Count Act. I've helped pass some of the most important legislation in recent history, and it wouldn't have happened if we didn't sit down and work together. What's clear to me, though, every single day I'm in Washington, is that people want common sense solutions and not extremism. I mean, I don't care where I am here, where I am in Washington, that's basically what I hear. People just want us to talk to each other, to be reasonable, to figure out how to get things done for them, not to scream and to yell in a fight. The 66 members of the Problem Solvers Caucus, equally divided between Democrats and Republicans, understand that we may have our differences. And believe me, we do. But we also know that when we talk and listen to one another with civility, when we take the temperature down and put our country first, there is literally nothing we can't get done to move America forward. Even in these divisive times, even with a 4-seat narrow majority in the House, you can still find bipartisan agreements without compromising what you believe in, and get done what we must get done for our great country. And I've really tried to take the same approach in New Jersey, working with so many of you, working with Democrat and Republican mayors and councils. It's been my focus in the 5th District because the truth is, most things we do, like fixing a road, investing in mental health, protecting people, fighting the opioid scourge, aren't partisan issues. The bottom line is that we're all in the same boat together. We're all Americans, and our adversaries are the Chinese government and Putin, not one another. At this moment in our state and our country, and in our district, we need more cooperation and bipartisan problem solving, not yelling and inflammatory tweets. because I think you'd all agree, we live in the greatest country in the world. And if we work together, there is nothing stopping Jersey or America. There is nothing stopping the 5th Congressional District, which remains strong. And our best days will always be ahead of us. So thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me give you a report on the state of the 5th Congressional District. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for all you do every day. God bless you and your families. God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.